Yeah, so Yumi mid is like so insanely powerful. You just take like, in fact, you can go anything. You could go Arcane Comet, you can go Summonary. You just poke them out for days and you win. And if anyone tries to CC you, you just like you don't even need to flash. It's like they just can't do anything. You maxi, you just consistently heal yourself, and then it doesn't matter what they do because you just heal and you're always at full HP.
Do you say stupid things and not realize it? Well, try the new eLECtric.
Wow.
It comes with all essential minerals and vitamins, from pro drafting skills, CS ability, insane MMR, and even anti-tilt. And most importantly, it tastes really good. No, I mean really good.
Holy shit. I was an idiot.
Try the new eLECtric. Available in all 4 major regions: Europe, China, Korea, and Japan. Welcome to the eLECtric Recap, the show where we talk about everything LEC related.
I'm MaskedSwan, your resident analyst, and I'm showing less chest, but I'm all in black today, with the baseball cap as well.
And I'm Milky Cereal, and I was the first tester of the eLECtric drink, and I still think Yumi mid was a good idea. But with that said, let's head on in to our first day of games from the LEC this week, and we are kicking things off with Schalke against SK, and MaskedSwan. SK were able to take the win.
Yeah, SK played the right bird in the mid lane as opposed to Yumi in this one, and it worked beautifully. Honestly,
Yumi's not a bird.
I mean, she wants to eat birds, and that's why this bird denied her. Anyway, Schalke looked really bad this game. They looked really bad. I wasn't quite sure, honestly, with part of their draft. I'm not a fan of drafting Nidalee along with Gnar, and Tinks played this really well. Tinks is actually starting to come well truly into kind of their role. They understand now they need to be the pick. They need to be the engaged for this SK team. This SK team, yeah, coming into this week, we had middle of the road expectations. 1-1 is normally where I peg SK. I expect them to win a game. I expect them to lose a game. But how they're going to get there, neither of us will really know. Jinax in the bot lane looks a lot better, Milky. I was thoroughly impressed with SK, honestly.
Yeah, SK did look good, but let's not dilly-daddle too long, otherwise in Neon's Kaiser might be starting to scale up just a slight amount. Our second game of the day, Excel against Mad Lions, and Mad Lions are back in form of taking down Excel.
Oh, so Callista is entering the meta. I'm so high. She lost because XL didn't. They didn't get ahead in the early game. This was sink or swim. I really appreciate that they went truly all in on the comp. The early game J4 with the Renekton in the top lane. I would have liked to have seen, honestly, a jungler that works far better in the early game and then falls off mid to late game. They didn't fully index onto this, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. I would have liked to have seen a jungler which has far more early game pressure. And this is where Lawyer identified this for XL. They're like, they need to get ahead early game. How about if I pick Kane, Milky? How about if I pick Kane there and just try and do something special?
Yep. He went blue Kane as well, and he smurfed 12, 2, and 5. His final death coming through at the fountain at the very end. Mad Lions looking so strong, and Ilyoya looking absolutely fantastic as well. So on to game 3. And our game of the day, Astralis are looking strong against G2, taking them so along in this match, but eventually G2 were able to show why they are our 2020 spring and summer champions and were able to secure the win.
Yeah, this was a game, Milky, that I'm actually really happy we actually get to pick game of the day. And before this, we would have never done that. I remember on our previous episode, we were like, Astralis G2, well, G2. Anyway, next game. That's actually how our recap went. And then it's like, this game? Now we're like, it's game of the day. This game was so hype. This shows a lot of promise for the players on Astralis. I don't think Astralis will go very much further. I don't think they'll actually make playoffs, honestly. What I do think this is showing is the individual players all got to showcase something significant about them, except for Zanzara. Really, he had a pretty disappointing game on this Skarner. Did find one or two good moments, but Magic Felix started to pop off. Jessica really popped off and saved this game for them. White Knight played really good defense and offense. Promise Q was lining really important points. But yeah, this is G2. Even if you find ways to punish them, even if Jankos maybe runs it down a little bit at points, it's not going to be enough because they've got Reckless, they've got Mickey, they've got Wonder, they've got Caps, the best player that EU has ever produced, hyphen that stayed in EU. Like, I mean, I gotta put that little point there. It's
Is that
honestly
your inner TSM fan coming out there, MaskedSwan?
TSM is actually half decent, even though I'm really still not sure, and my heart can't quite take them just breaking it in a moment's notice. But G2 Esports shouldn't have shown this much weakness. They still got the win, Milky. They did. But I'm excited to see more from the Astralis players. I don't know about you.
I am as well. I've been excited ever since Magic Felix came through, started playing Corki. I know you don't like the Corki. We might be talking a bit more about it in the meta recap later. But I want to talk a little bit about Magic Felix, because in that final fight, Astralis and G2, yes, Astralis were behind, but they were finding fights. They were finding the ability to match G2 toe-to-toe in the all-out trades. But then in that final fight, Magic Felix Valkyrie forward, and then Wonder's just like bop with a belly slam, and pop went Magic Felix. And I feel like if that didn't happen, if that over-aggression from Magic Felix didn't come through and he just stayed at range, I honestly think Astralis might have actually won that game. I know it's a long shot, but Astralis look really good to me right now, and I'm so excited that I'm actually able to say that.
Let's be real. The fact that it came down to that moment where on cast, I think it's Medic is going, "Who got the Elder?" Like, the fact that those words are being uttered against G2 from Astralis, who was a team who honestly were looking pretty cold coming in, had a lot of problems, and their record was reflecting that. The fact that they were able to push G2 so far, and G2 didn't have a bad draft. That's the thing you normally get to say about top teams when a bad team or one of the lower teams starts to contend them. Normally it's a bad draft. I'm thinking LJL here again, Sengoku DFM, Sengoku beating DFM, and it was covered in the report that LoL Esports actually do. They were like, wow, this is big news. Thank you, it was big news. But DFM inted the draft.
MaskedSwan, can I just say, what does that bit say?
So G2 didn't int this draft.
Okay.
They played a really good comp. I actually really like their draft. They've got Engage with the Gragas, the J4, and Alistair all going in. They can pick when they choose going in and out because they got Rise, and obviously Reckless is playing his Jhin, so there's a lot of pick potential they have here. But Astralis didn't give them an inch. They were always rotating around. I'm thinking of that Baron where actually Astralis prevent G2 from doing it, even though they should have been able to do it. Honestly, go watch this game, because if you want to pinpoint a moment where maybe one or two of these players become, from Astralis specifically, become huge names, this might be a good place to come back in 3 or 4 years and go, yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean about Jessica. I see what you mean about X player here.
Yeah. Moving on to our next game, Misfits against Rogue. Well, let's just say there's a reason why Misfits are towards the bottom of the table, and there's a reason why Rogue are towards the top of the table. It was an absolute destruction by the side of Rogue.
I mean, this is Rogue, right? Like, as you've said, it was absolute destruction. I feel really bad about being a Misfits fan sometimes because, yeah, while we are not casting any of this, I do feel like I'm meant to be a bit more unbiased with some of my points of view. I want this Misfits team to work out, and they have moments, but oh my, I didn't think it would go this badly for them, Milky.
Misfits only securing 2 kills in the entire game, 26 minutes and 10 seconds, the fastest game of 2021 spring. And anyone who's been watching the show from the start knows that I've been wanting Misfits to do well. I've been hyping them up.
Yeah.
I've been saying, okay, this is now Misfits looking good. This is now Misfits looking good. But against Rogue, there just didn't seem to be even a spark. So going on to our 5th and final game of the day, which also happens to be our talk of the town, Vitality versus Fnatic. And last week, MaskedSwan, you said something about Crown Shot coming in. He wasn't the solution for them. maybe he isn't the solution for them, but either way, Vitality were able to take down Fnatic.
Yeah. So, Milky, you're right. Let's be real here. The person that didn't pop off, it wasn't Crowny. It was Skeens. He popped the off so hard. He absolutely self-made his in this one. And I am aware that we all have to be going in for filtering me here. But I was just so impressed. We thought this could come from Vitality when we saw this lineup. We hyped these players up. We were like, this could be a team that could be a top 4 contender. And we hadn't been seeing it. But now, yeah, they can definitely do it. I believe them. Vitality, where were you hiding this magic, this aura? This was such a unique draft. You showcased so much in this, and my camera has frozen, but I'm gonna keep going. Oh, it was so good.
I mean, Skeens has popped off, and I think your camera has popped off for your monologue as well. Hey, it's back. It's back. Your monologue ended, and the camera was back. It says, right, I can deal with the energy coming through on at camera now. I mean, in the words of Trevor, the great quick shot Henry, where were you when Vitality rose up?
This was a performance, and we have to then now flick it over to the other side of the coin. Fnatic played awfully. Bwipo specifically just did not respect the damage that the opponent could put out. Sigenda really knew the damage output on Aatrox. Bwipo just didn't respect. He was like, he's not gonna miss this. He's gonna miss this. I can do whatever I want. I'm on Wukong. No, you can't. You're gonna get ran down. And he lost the 1v1. Bwipo got killed in a 1v1. He has gone and said this is the only way he'll respect a top laner. Sigenda is now on the list of top laners he respects.
Well,
Point blank.
That list is increasing then for Bwipo, but the key thing I want to bring up, is this a change for Vitality, or is this a one-off? What can we expect from Vitality? In day 2, which we'll get onto in a bit, but in the future as a whole.
Well, realistically, they needed to have a somewhat continuous performance, even with a loss in day 2. As long as it's at least a good fight, it's not so bad. With how I'm talking, you know how I'm feeling about this. It might have been a flash in the pan. They need to find this kind of vigor again. Maybe unorthodox drafts are their thing. Play things like Seraphine mid, which a lot of players aren't willing to do unless they're going to play around. Do something like get your top laner, get Sigenda to carry, do other options, because why not? It's sink or swim at this point, and hey, Crowny looked pretty good this game as well.
Or maybe just get Skeens on Lily and get him to go 6-0 at the 11-minute mark. That would definitely help. On to day 2. And we're kicking things off with Excel taking on Astralis. And that, how do I say, that form, that promise that Astralis was able to show, that promise Q that Astralis were able to show against G2, they unleashed it all against Excel.
I actually want to use the support you brought up there. Promise Q, this was his best game. And hilariously, it wasn't his best game versus G2. This game, he absolutely trounced the bot lane of XL and then probably roamed around and got a kill in mid lane, ran up top lane, was everywhere across. Well, actually, no, he didn't go top lane. He did a thing around Rift Herald, if I remember rightly. But it doesn't matter. They were all over the place. Promise Q popped off. Honestly, the whole side of Astralis in this game popped off. Jessica went 12-0-8 like Magic Felix played not Corki, and they won. just saying results-based orientated thinking here, Milky. Not like I'm actually biased or anything.
Corki.
They lost with G2 on Corki. Like, if it was a Syndra, they might have won. Not biased.
Moving on. It was a very impressive game.
It was a very good game. Yeah. It was.
They're looking strong. We'll talk more about Astralis towards the end of the show. I'll talk of the town. Misfits against SK. Misfits were looking so darn good. I was watching the game and I was literally sitting like, yes, Misfits are in, Misfits are here, Misfits were dominating, here it picking up the kills. And then I turned off my monitor and I was like, Misfits have got it, it's become boring, and I walked off. So Misfits won, right? Right? Right?
Yeah.
Right!
Aatrox is apparently still a really good champion, even with 11.3. Goredrinker is still an item you can play, but you don't have to anymore. You can actually just do Stridebreaker instead and output so much damage, it doesn't matter. Jinax hard carried his team when Jezu got caught out in 2 separate occasions. Let's be real here, Milky. He got caught out on 2 separate occasions. The team should have lost. Jinax denied that from Misfits twice. And because of that, Blue was able to scale up. Jinax was able to get a few more items. Tinks was able to get like 3 or 4 man multi-sleeps. And Treats was able to get some really good Jarvan ults. They understood how to play the team fights. But it came down to Jinax at the end of the day. And oh boy, Hyrit, it's not your fault. I hope he doesn't understand that it's his fault. I honestly, this was just a awkward spot. Misfits, unlucky, man. And that's how I feel. I feel like they got a bit unlucky.
I'm tired of saying this. I'm tired of saying every single week, nearly 2 times a week, Misfits were unlucky. Misfits were good, but
Maybe they're
Misfits were unlucky.
bad.
And you know what? No. You know what? Heart on my sleeve. I don't know if there's a symbol for that. I'm done. I'm done with Misfits. I'm done thinking every week, this is going to be the week that Misfits come back. This is the week where here it shows his promise and is able to deliver again, because he has been. This is where VTO looks strong, etc., etc., etc. It's over, Misfits. It's over.
And there's so much promise from individual members on this team. I thought Razork definitely had some good shots. Hyrit might be one of my most favorite players just to see in interviews and just hearing on the mic. He's got so much energy. Kobe, obviously I'm biased, ex-TSM, so yeah. Vivio had that amazing performance, remember, in week 1 on the Zoe, just absolutely schooling on people. We do know him, though, as a Zoe one-trick, and we definitely are seeing a bit of deterioration in level of play when teams do ban it, like in this SK Misfits game. Vander's been just as good as he's always been. Just because he left Rogue doesn't mean he went down in quality. He's still a very good support. It's just the sum of the parts aren't there. It might be a backroom thing. It might be just on stage. This team definitely shows promise, but SK just kind of pulled all the found all the holes in Misfits' plans and just ripped them apart mid to late game, and Jinax was at the helm of it.
I mean, I even remember hearing from Ender in the mid game when Misfits were ahead. He was talking about SK and how Aatrox couldn't do anything, saying that Aatrox can't gap close. Aatrox is not going to be able to get in. Aatrox won't be able to find the damage. He's too short range. And then 3 seconds later, there's a fight in the top side jungle where there's a 3-man cataclysm, and the rest is history, really. SK taking the win. Misfits, it go down. I'm no longer biased towards the Misfits. I'll just say that. Moving on to our next game, Rogue against Vitality. And production, it is time for my blip. Holy
Nope.
Rogue?
Nope.
On Vitality.
Yeah, so you know how we were asking and talking about, is this Vitality gonna be able to like figure it out? No. No. And you know what's funny?
Rogue, though.
You know what's funny about Rogue? Larson actually had an interview with Ashley Kane for this week, and he was complaining that he thought he played bad. Like I don't know what kind of expectations this beast in the mid lane for them has, but he, apparently it's like, yeah, like we did good, but like maybe we could have done better. They trounce Misfits, now they do this to Vitality, and I don't know what more do you want, Larson?
Okay, for context, by 30 minutes in the game, Larson was 5-0. Okay, 30 minutes in, 5 kills. There were only 5 kills in the game until 30 minutes. It was a slow start from Rogue, and by the end of the game, Larson was 10-0-3. There were only 13 kills from the entirety of Rogue. He was part of every single one until literally 5 seconds before the end, when Inspired was able to hunt down the Bard and murder Lebrov right at the end. Otherwise, Larson had 100% kill participation, 10-0-3. The man popped off. Okay, yes, he did kill steal a few kills, but still.
This is a game that did take Rogue 42 minutes. Now, that is an important point of this part. I love always to go back to the timer and go, well, where were we in this game? Rogue were always ahead, and this is part of the reason why Larson was very disappointed with their play in this game against Vitality. They were like, this should have been a 30-minute game. This shouldn't have gone on for this long. The fact that they let them go this long, and the fact that Vitality found the way to let this game go so long, allowed them to scale up, allowed them to get like 3 or 4 items. Like at the end of the game, Skeens was at 3 items fully completed, had a Bramble Vest ready to go. Sagenda had 4-item Camille done. Like, this is a team that was ready to fight. The last fight didn't go their way, but they at least got themselves into that opportunity. So there is at least something positive to take away for Vitality.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 kills that Vitality were able to get was in a pick in mid lane. Otherwise, it would have just been that 1 death that Rogue suffered. However, I'm still positive about Vitality. It is Rogue at the end of the day. We're going to move on to our game of the day now. Mad Lions against Fnatic. Both teams coming into this with 6 wins and 4 defeats. And, well, let's just say it wasn't sad lines today.
This was not the Sad Lions. This is Fnatic in a week after looking very good, going 0-2. This was not the expectation. Obviously, we've already talked about how they got one-upped by Vitality, and now it happened once again. This time coming from the Mad Lions. Armut was a god on this Gnar.
Oh,
There
yes.
was outright no distinction between a good Gnar and Armut's Gnar. Like, this is honestly like elite level, like the kind of stuff you expect to see at Worlds, coming out really early on. And this is against Fnatic. They were able to find multi-man knockups. There's the one that I'm thinking about in the mid lane, very late in, where he just gets the knockup onto Upset. And then the game, because my camera is also over at that.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
just...
Actually, MaskedSwan, I'm hearing something. I'm
What
hearing
are you
something.
hearing?
Oh, my camera froze for a sec.
Oh.
Sorry, I just got armor altered. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I just got caught by that. Yeah.
I must
Sorry.
have been altered as well.
The sound I heard was him teleport flanking me with home guard. Yeah. Sorry.
The thing is, the whole side of Mad Lions really stepped up. Karzi was getting insanely strong on this. Obviously, they went fasting center. By the way, that's what I said everybody should be doing last week. Play Scots. Oh, it's annoying when you watch LCS and they don't listen to the show, so they start doing the wrong stuff and they lose. And then people in EU are only doing fasting center, and it's like crazy. They're winning all their games when a fasting center's on their team. Rogue did it, they won. Mad Lions did it, they won. Spoiler alert, last game, they also do it. But we'll get into that when we get there. This is just like, I can't believe people keep letting Senna go through. They allow the fasting to happen, and then they lose, and they go, why? It's like, oh, well, your support only has an item and a half there. Their support, meaning tank, has like 3.5 items. It's like, just to get... Oh, I'm flustered, Milky. I'm so flustered. Mad Lions played so well, and I'm really disappointed in the level of play. Again, specifically in that top lane from Bwipo. Healy also was getting caught out a lot on this Alistair.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I personally don't like fasting center. It means like when I do all like my fantasy predictions, like like all of the CS is all like ruined and stuff. I lose points. Either way, Mad Lions able to take down Fnatic. They're looking strong. They're now 7-4 onto our final game of the day. G2 against Schalke. And all I need to say here is Senna Sion is a combo and a half.
So this isn't our match of the day. This isn't a talk of the town. But we have to talk about this game to some degree because, oh my, this was the first time, to my knowledge, that this has really been brought out. This has been theory crafted by a lot of people. Senna, Camille, Galio comps are very common because you get to play the fasting center, but you can get a Galio scaling, and you don't have to then play a Galio in the mid lane. There's a lot of like theory crafting going around with fasting center. I think this might be the best combo because Sion is already able to play with almost no gold in the game. You can just play him no gold. You can put Sion weak side. He was the epitome of lane
I hear
swaps.
our producer nodding right now. Yep.
Absolutely. I agree. Peepo notes. It's like, oh, yes, yes.
Our producer sounds like that, by the way.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. Sion just can go the next mile when you start going, hey, buddy, how about if you get 2 items and boots, and then we just get a really fed AD carry? And everyone's like, well, this stuff sounds the best of both worlds. Yeah. But Milky, that's not the reason you do it, is it?
No.
Why do you
do it? Is because Senna can do this thing where she like presses W and it sends out like a weird thing. It's like, but it like sticks onto something, and then after a few seconds it goes pops, and it roots everything in the area. So she does
Oh.
that onto a cannon minion, so the cannon minion doesn't die. And then Cyan headbutts the minion forward. Wait. I just had an epiphany. You could do this with Senna Alistair as well. How has this not happened yet?
Because
You can
Sion...
headbutt minions.
I mean, it has.
To
I think
clarify for viewers, essentially what happens is Senna puts her W onto a cannon minion, Cyan knocks the minion forward, it then roots down someone, and then Cyan can essentially just ult onto the person and one-shot them. Or just combo on them.
So I think the main reason, just to answer your quick epiphany there, is Alistair doesn't really actually scale particularly well with items. Not a lot of them are utility worthwhile onto him. And his ultimate isn't really a game-changing ultimate, unlike a Galio, which we've seen in the past, a Tahm Kench, or a Sion in this scenario, where their ultimates are game-changing ultimates, right? Tahm Kench, you can teleport, have an extra movement. Gragas, obviously, if you do that, the ultimate's huge. Galio ult, like it's the ult you play around, right? And Alistair's great if you want to play like a Samira, right? Like you want to just have a tanky one, have a carry, dedicated roles. But this Sion, and the fact that this was the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that G2 had pulled this out. They hadn't practiced this.
No, they hadn't.
That's...
Unless they were lying, which, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if G2 pulled out stuff like that and just threw everyone off.
Maybe. We will never know. We'll never know.
Who knows? Reckless, if you know, you can tell us. Don't worry, we won't share it to everyone. Don't worry, we will. Anyway, on that note, let's take a quick look at how the LEC standings shape up as we head into a new week of games. So, after 11 games, MaskedSwan, yep, there it is. You see it, it's over there. G2 and Rogue at the top of the standings, 9-2. But I don't want to talk about G2 and Rogue. We already know G2 and Rogue are the best teams around. I want to scroll all the way down. Astralis, Misfits, Vitality, because I think these are three of the weakest teams right now. And I'm done with Misfits. They can finish bottom. I've lost heart in them. They've, it's been too long. It's like when you watch an anime or read a manga, and there's a love interest, but the main character doesn't go after them. And eventually, you're done. You're done with the romance. You're done with shipping the characters. I'm done with shipping Misfits in LEC Spring 2021. So I want to talk about Astralis and Vitality because they actually look quite good this week.
Okay, we need to talk about your anime viewing habits later, but we'll come back around to that for the after show that Patreon people can pay for. Vitality and Astralis, yeah, absolutely do look better. I'm also on the exact same kind of train as you here. Astralis having that one win, there will be a spot out of these three teams for playoffs. So that's at least something that these teams need to fight about. The fact that they're all so low down in the standings, is actually pretty good for all of them. They can figure out a spot to get in here. I'm not hopeful, and the fact is they also... Oh no, actually no, it's top 6 teams, isn't it? It's not top 8, it's top 6. So they also need to climb up and pass at least XL or Schalke, who are tied there at the moment. It's going to be a long shot. I don't know if Schalke or XL be willing to give it up, but hey, if anyone's going to do it, it would be Astralis or XL, or Vitality. Vitality or Astralis. Yeah, there we go. That's my thoughts. Move on.
Now, I do really want to talk about SK and XL because at the end of last week, we were hyping up XL. We were talking about how they had improved their plays, how, that constant progression that they had been showing was now starting to pay dividends. But then this week, didn't look like they were able to show that progression that they previously had. And SK, I don't really know because I feel like they were on the same kind of boat. They were able to beat Misfits, but then again, it's Misfits, so everyone's going to beat Misfits. And they were able to take down Schalke though on Friday. So SK, I'm not sure, but XL, I feel like they're kind of on the downward trend.
Yeah, I agree with you though. XL were predicted to win one of these games this week. I think we both would share that sentiment that they should have beaten Astralis. The fact that Astralis have done this huge level up between week 1 and day 1 and day 2, and just week 4 and week 5, really. It's just night and day difference between this team. I don't know what they've done differently, but it's working for them, and I'm expecting more from that. XL, yeah, not beating Astralis, not good. And the fact that they lost to Astralis in the fashion that they did doesn't fill me with hope. This was not a close game. This was a 28-minute game where things are worrying. I agree with you. SK are showing promise. They beat Schalke, and Schalke are a team that they might have to worry about moving a little bit forward because of those playoff positions. Beating Schalke at this point is a really strong spot to be in. And remember, we're halfway done now, Milky. This is after the halfway point. Playoffs are on the horizon for us, and SK, I think, will do it.
Now, playoffs are on the horizon, but something else that is on the horizon and slightly in view. Actually, MaskedSwan, do you see that? It's the meta recap time!
Oh! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the meta recap, where we
No!
will...
No,
What?
no,
What?
no.
No,
Because, no, this is no longer your thing. This is mine. Because we haven't done, while the meta recap of recappingness and the cap of meta recappingness has been thrown, it is because it is time to do the recap of recappingness to look forward to next week's games and Friday's games, MaskedSwans, because you have to do some predictions for us. Me. Us.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay, so we're here. Oh, Milky. Schalke Rogue. That's pretty yikes.
I mean, if you had asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yes, Schalke are the Titan killers. They murder Rogue in G2. But now they've gone from the ultimate killing machine of Rengar to the kitty cat of Yumi.
So like you in the mid lane, they're gonna die a lot. So I should definitely hedge my bets with Rogue, right? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Talking about animals in lanes or in spots that they shouldn't really be in, the rabbits of Misfits aren't doing so well, Milky, and we're off the hype train, right? Of Misfits.
Oh yeah, XL are going to absolutely slaughter
All right.
Misfits. Yeah.
All right, so represent England, XL, let's go, la 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 la. XL Esports gonna take this one.
Yeah. The only thing bad about XL is that they have a terrible chant. Moving on then to G2 Vitality. Surely G2 to take this?
Vitality look really good, but yeah, no. G2 should win this.
Not good
G2 should win this.
Yeah. Moving on to our fourth game. To be honest, these have been really easy so far. Surely this is Mad Lions to take down SK.
I mean, if things keep going as we expect them to, yeah, I expect Mad Lions to beat SK in pretty good fashion. I think this will be a closer game. I think this will be maybe the closest game of the week. I think that's a fair thing to say. But yeah, no, I expect the Mad Lions to be very mad kitties.
Yeah. And then the games just get even easier because Magi Felix is going to stomp on Fnatic, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
agree with you. Yes, my camera quality has destroyed itself, so I can agree with you that yes, I think Astralis will actually beat Fnatic as well. I'm not even joking. I actually think it could happen.
Well, MaskedSwan's camera quality has dipped slightly, maybe to represent how Fnatic's form has dipped recently. But it is time to move on to the meta recap of recapping. Wait, no. The meta recap. I have the cap of meta recappingness, but this is the meta recap.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the meta recap, and no interruptions this time. We're all good with everything. And, ladies and gentlemen, I must inform you of urgent news. Twisted Fate is missing on Summoner's Rift in EU. We need to find a missing person. He's on every milk carton out there on Summoner's Rift, but we can't find him. Why? 100% ban rate. Only region in the world with this. And Milky, there seems to be a bit of a problem with all of our mid laners being TF1 tricks at one point or another.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. I like Azir. Lucian's pretty fun. There's other champions, Corki, that I like to see coming out as well. So I don't even mind. Don't even mind.
I think it's just very interesting, honestly, to point out that in most other region he has about 40 to 60% presence rate. In EU he has 100%, always banned, has never been on the Rift. On the most recent patch is what I'm talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't shoot me. But it's a very interesting thing. And when you compare other champions in the global meta, Rel and Udyr being close to 100 for us, or actually 100, actually falls in line with the rest of the world. It's just where we diverge is Twisted Fate and our indifference to blue side first picking. We have 7 different champions being picked on blue side 1. You know what that tells me? Either the meta's really wide and healthy, or nobody knows what's really good and we're just picking random stuff. And outside of being in the coaching staff, I couldn't tell you which is it. I actually think we're just bad. But
Wait,
that
what's that I hear? A wide champion pool, lots of stuff to select from, not knowing what is right or wrong. It sounds like it's time for Hot or Not. Now, last week it was put on ice because it was Corki. And MaskedSwan doesn't like Corki because he is weird, but has potentially the ice thawed underneath the Valkyrie. Corki is back. MaskedSwan, surely it's hot now.
just because Magic Felix plays it again doesn't make it hot. Like, just because, like, you can't say one player playing a champion in the mid lane and then going, yeah, but Melitza played it in Team Vitality, but he played it against Rogue and Larson went 10-0-3. No, he's not
Whippo's
hot.
Riven was put hot because one person played it.
Yeah, and how good did that Riven look?
Insanely good.
Exactly. How good has Corki really looked in the LEC across 5 different games now?
Awesome.
He's not hot. We'll talk about this next week.
Well, it seems that MaskedSwan needs to drink some eLECtric. Another team that has been drinking some eLECtric and been finding out all of the Pogger combinations was G2 Esports, because next up is Science Support.
Okay, this is hot fire. We both gushed about this for about 2 minutes. Like I can't. I'm so happy we're seeing theory crafting. This is theory crafting. This beautiful zombie person man. Regardless, the combo between Senna and Sion is beautiful. I'm expecting to see more of this out on the world stage and just international play. Super hot fire.
And while G2 have been horsing around on the Rift, the next champion is a horse himself. It's the unicorn, not quite a unicorn, but as cool as one, Hecarim from the Shadow Isles.
He's got a horn. I can kind of understand where you're going with that. I actually really dig Hecarim at the moment in the meta. I think he is hot fire, and you know why? Because things like control mages are currently meta, and Hecarim loves Orianna more than any other mid laner. Hecarim is great. You scale up with Orianna. You basically item spike at level 30, normally about an item and a half to 2 items in, and that's when Orianna also hits her spike. That's where she hits her mid game thing. I love Hecarim. I want to see more of him. He's actually seeing a decent amount of play at the moment. I just want to see more of it because this week was lacking. I think we only really got 1 game from him, and it was in Zara from Astralis, where they did use it to a brutal effect against the other deer, that is Bambi.
Now, while Hecarim may be so hot that he is on fire, Excel were on fire when they had to face against Elurius Kane. MaskedSwan, the question is, hot, or super hot?
Okay.
No, no, I know that okay. I know that okay.
Okay, so
no.
It's good. Okay, Kane is good at the moment. All right, I'm just a little bit. I don't know if I really want to put Kane as a hot yet. I don't. All right, fine. You're judging, you're eye rolling, and you're disapproving looks.
I'm gonna disapprove anyway because you've already said this now. It's out there. It's out to the world.
Like, it's a good pick in certain situations, right? Like, we saw Dardoch play Kane to great performance in LCS. We've seen it work beautifully now here. And now I'm like, maybe it's meta. Maybe Kane is good, but he's only good in very specific spots. He's hot. He's not fire. He's just hot.
Do you really mean that?
I do actually mean that. Like, I think the champion's perfectly fine in the correct comp and orientation, and you've got to be pitching him into a squishy matchup so you can get an early aggressive lead and really snowball that further. If you can transfer Kane pre-15, you're going to win the game. But we haven't seen many Kanes not do that in international play so far, so yeah, because he's not picked that often.
Okay, now both MaskedSwan and myself are support players, and we like to go giga tanky. However, certain supports have been moving away from the greener pastures and looking a little bit blue because they've been taking phase rush. So the question is, MaskedSwan, Alistair phase rush?
Yes, this is actually really good. Reason being is because it's very easy to proc it. Because it just works on when a spell is cast, you can RW and dash and you've already procced your phase rush. You don't actually have to do anything else to proc it. It's really easy. You can also Hexaflash WR, and you'll be already going fast. Alistair is one of the few champions that can really kind of abuse the power of phase rush, especially with Hexaflash in combo with that. Not everybody is. Skarner's another champion that's doing it to wonders at the moment. I'm expecting Alistair to become almost a mainstay in the phase rush, or for there to be a 50-50 split between pro players and the different comps. This cow is flaming hot, and I've frozen.
Well, Mask Frond?
Keep going, Milk. You can do this. Last
Now,
one.
while MaskedSwan was frozen and has thawed out, Alistair has unchained himself and has come through with a phase rush. Another person, yes, person, not champion, who has unchanged themselves. Unchanged themselves? I'm not having a good day.
Who is it?
Another person that has unchained themselves is a MagiFelix, because he got his Corki banned, but you slay down his Corki and he will rise up stronger than you could. You're right there, MaskedSwan? You okay down there?
This is a champion. Key.
MagiFelix played Syndra, so the question for you, MaskedSwan, is how hot is MagiFelix when he's not on a Corki?
Am I judging him on appearance here? Like, or as a player? Like, what? He's hot as
Nope.
dude. Like, look at the man. Like, I don't even have to go. Like, I'm not even joking here. The guy is hard smurfing on. He came on to one of the bottom teams and has somehow, I don't know, in 2 weeks of playing with them, is turning them around to a team that could be competing for the higher places. This team, like Astralis, looks night and day different between the first few weeks and the weeks that he's been a part of them. MagiFelix is hot fire, guys.
And that wraps up the eLECtric recap and the meta recap as well. And on that note, guys, thank you very, very much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. I've been Milky Cereal, joined by the wonderful MaskedSwan. We'll be back in next week to find out how hard Astralis do beat Fnatic. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a week. Bye, guys.